Hey there, my name's Niandra, and I've got a few old OpenQ games sitting around that I wanted to commentate over. From what I recall, it was a low masters game, my stats roughly look like this, and we won. Sadly, we are using the replay system. I generally don't record my OpenQ matches because they're so wildly mixed in quality. Like, quite often one team just stomps or someone throws, plus I really like using the mode to practice other heroes. Anyway, this was a match where I solo healed with Mercy, and I thought it'd be fun to look at. To begin, we're running Farah, and with no other healer, I cannot tunnel vision on her. With this specific map, I always try to start by looking up to this area to see if the enemy is running pharmacy, since it's a pretty common pick here. Secondly, I should play safe until I'm aware of what the enemy is running, and also need to be quick at helping allies, so I let myself fall pretty fast. I probably could have thrown in some angelic descent taps to be a little less predictable. Our Reaper is actively doing damage, so let's switch targets. I watch him while I heal him, and then do the same with our Roadhog that self-heals. When it's just me on support and I look at the person I'm healing, I might be slow to help allies that are out of view. This is a problem because, well, there's no one else to heal them if I can't, so yeah, a bit tunnel visioned in my opinion. I am capping point alone and feel like I can't afford to turn around and check here for flanks, even though I normally would, because my team looked engaged and I need to be immediately ready to heal them if damage went past the Rhine shields. I cheat to my Farah that I'm already able to beam and hover in front of this window, which just kind of leaves me exposed. If I were to just look to my left and right, I'd be able to see there are no enemies nearby, so playing from the ground was perfectly fine. The enemy team starts to engage, so I want to stay off point and I try to keep our Roadhog in the corner of my eye the best I can. Once I'm fairly certain the whole enemy team is ahead, I push forward with Valkyrie and don't bother checking for flanks behind me. Once we get some picks, I really push damage boost over healing to finish the fight, especially since we have two allies with self-heal. In the past, I've talked about how if you're in Valkyrie and your team wins the fight, to hold off on healing until your ult is finished so you can get the ult charge from it. Ever since Mercy's healing buff, this technique has become so good. Like, you can see here, I finish my ult and I immediately have like almost 25% just seconds after it's over. You should be at peak performance levels. One thing I've talked about a lot in my recent VOD reviews is to be careful about flying to an ally you're already beaming, because there's a chance you're just putting your mobility on cooldown without really moving anywhere. Guardian Angel's cooldown is super short and you do generally want to keep moving, but if you've ever not had GA available when you needed it, you'll know it feels really awful. Anyway, I feel like I was doing that a little bit with our Farah here. Like, the floor is kinda safer when they haven't pushed in yet, and we can see enemy soldier does have ult ready. I briefly commit the sin of healing a fully healthed ally, but I am staring at a wall with enemy soldier ult going off. I have no idea if our Farah is exposed, so I'd rather just play it safe. Ooh, ouch. Since enemy soldier's dead, let's try and get in the air to trigger health regeneration. My Roadhog vapes past me. I have ult, he doesn't, so I actually should just let him heal himself to build the last bit of whole hog, which is pretty solid on this map. Recently, I've started asking myself every like 20 seconds, how many allies am I looking at right now? And if the number is less than 5, I try to look out for the rest if I'm not already aware of their position. It's really good for fighting tunnel vision and might have been useful here. I go for a nice little body block, almost flying a Reaper ult, and then die trying to recover. A little unfortunate. I might have been able to live if I had ascended off point a little quicker. I switched to Moira because the moment my team loses a fight, my initial instinct is just, ah shit, it's all my fault. God, I need to switch immediately to atone for my sins of dying once. I throw a single orb through the window and then I'm like, fuck it, we've got Farah, we've been doing fine so far, let's just go back to Mercy. We get a pick, then enemy bull rolls off the edge, and I assume he's screwed, so in my mind we are currently 2 up. Normally as Mercy, I would position safely behind my team, but with our advantage, my only thought is just go, go, go. I don't care if pushing past our Rhine shield is dangerous, I want a damage boost. Round 2 and our Farah goes Sombra, which I think is fine since it potentially takes some pressure off me. Plus with 2 other DPS, it's not likely the swap will decrease our overall damage to a point where it's an issue. I damage boost the Fire Strike and for once in my goddamn life don't eat theirs, so good job me. There's a pretty high chance it wouldn't have mattered, but here you can see I am healing our Wraithform Reaper who is leaving the fight. Reinhardt doesn't get the luxury of invulnerability, so my beam really needed to be on him instead. Let's take advantage of Hanzo being long ranged and squeeze in some damage boost while falling back. I'm gonna have a brief lapse in judgment here. So I see a teammate is critical in the back and I'm like, oh, it's my job to deal with that, so I fly forward. Then it hits me that the injured ally is Sombra, who can almost certainly heal herself. I throw some pot shots and fall back, with this mistake denying my team healing for roughly 5 seconds, which is pretty big. As I flew over, I realised my mistake about halfway there, but thought if I cancel my G8 early and play from here until G8 is ready again, I'm pretty exposed. I felt like once I'd started, I had to finish the flight, even though it hurt my team in the process. My team gets 3 picks, I activate Valkyrie. Now, if we had a second healer, depending on who they were and where they were positioned, I'd most likely think this was too hasty, though we'd already won the fight, but here I'm alone and people are critical. Even though Valkyrie is highly valuable when solo healing, my mindset was I'd rather waste it than lose this, and I do think it was kinda wasteful, but I'm not gonna beat myself up over it. I was really happy with this res. Rewinding a few seconds, I hover towards it while watching enemy McCree. I see him roll backwards and my brain says you can res, but you have to rush. By falling back, I know McCree can't quickly close the distance between us to stun me, and his shots don't really scare me when I'm in Valkyrie with a health kit at my feet. Our Hanzo asked for healing, so I fell back to do so, and then 2 allies got grabbed. I could probably shrug this decision off by saying that I likely wouldn't have been able to out-heal this damage, but I kinda want to own up to this play being crap. Basically, my mistake was falling so far back so fast. I also do the bunny hop, which delays the cooldown of GA. If I had the GA at all here, I should have cancelled it fast and immediately check on the pushed up allies. We've pretty obviously lost the fight at this point, so I'm in die but get as much ult charge as I can before kicking it mode. I could have damage boosted our hog so he'd die faster, but yellow beam generally gets more ult charge than blue. This upwards GA kinda screwed me, and I could have just hid crouched behind the stairs, but it's whatever. Coming up is one reason why I prioritise natural terrain over our barriers. When both teams run Reinhardt, they generally play around each other with various mind games. For example, if one sees the other fire strike, they might use it as an opportunity to shatter. I was feeling happy with this dodge, and I remember immediately thinking, wow, that's going to be great to commentate on, instead of planning on what to do next. So I miss a possible escape flight path and then just kinda linger. I panic super jump with the intention of making myself harder to hit and die the world's most preventable death. Since there's only 3 allies in view, I consider this Valkyrie maybe a little early, like it would have been worth checking behind me first.
This is not your time.
Briefly healing fully healthed allies here. I like my stair positioning a lot here, and I also got to push a bit of damage boost over healing on an injured ally, which I'm proud of. In general, I do wish I had blue beam more this match. There's a few moments where I could have boosted hurt teammates, or I linger healing after topping someone to full, which is something I try to heavily avoid. I guess ultimately I shouldn't beat myself up too hard since it is just me on support. If a teammate were to die due to aggression with damage boost, my allies would then also end up losing out on almost 2 seconds of healing while I res.
Onwards to victory.
Sorry, the replay UI makes it hard to tell, but I've got a choice between rezzing Hanzo and Reaper here. I go for Hanzo because he's got range, and Reaper should be able to get back faster with his teleport. That being said, Reaper was also kind of appealing due to his self-heal and higher health pool, but Hanzo's ranged pressure kinda clenched it for him. So yeah, to start closing this matchup, the feel of solo healing again was pretty jarring, but I feel like I played well overall. As I said, my biggest issue is that I was just generally afraid to play aggressive with damage boost like I normally do. Like, I just don't want to take risks by blue beaming allies that are hurt, which it sounds fair on paper, but I do think was somewhat of a mistake. I generally try to aim for a minimum of 1500 to 2000 damage amplified minimum, and this match ended just lower than that, and I think I could have hit it. I think I could have hit the 1-5. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, it's good to be back, hope you enjoyed this little run through. Feel free to check out my Patreon, and have a nice day.